Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 23rd of February. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. And I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, let's have a look at ES, which has been trading sideways. Now, this is actually significant, I think, because we've had this run of 3 bearish leading days, and we've had 2 of them, and it's not actually gone down at all. Obviously, we saw a bit of a bounce after the Supreme Court disallowed the tariffs, but obviously the administration's made it very clear that it's imposing a whole load of new tariffs. So for whatever reason, and so that's only had a muted effect, but I suspect as long as the new tariffs become less aggressive than the old ones, that's probably going to be a good thing from an economic point of view. But, slow burn. In the short term, we've got the third of those consecutive bearish days today, and watching to see whether we get any downside, and if we do, we might get the low retests on crypto that I've been looking for. In terms of the overall setup here, really what I think is happening here is either we've got a big head and shoulders forming on ES, which is going to break down and possibly reject back up to the high, but could break down with a target significantly lower, or this is a bull flag forming, setting up a retest of the high, and likely it is one or the other. NQ, again muted, again got a double bottom, again was broken up and done very little from there. We will see. RTY, this kind of looks like a bull flag or a triangle forming, and YM really looks like the same, having made a high obviously more recently in February. DAX is pretty close to a retest of the high, all-time high. ESTX has already delivered a retest of the all-time high. and Nikkei, this could be a head and shoulders forming here, but the longer this right shoulder stretches out, the more likely it is that actually what we're looking at here is probably going to be a bull flag. So we shall see. All right, let's have a look at that on the bigger picture. And looking at SPX, obviously we are holding the daily middle band as resistance and pretty much closed slightly below it on Friday. So if we're going to see a break above, this would be a good time to do it. If we're going to see a fail back down into the lower band and a possible low retest, then this would be a pretty good time to do that too. The only buy signal we've got on the hourly chart left is a weak RSI 14 buy signal, which has fixed and not yet made target on the SPX chart, and we haven't really got anything else on the hourly or the 15-minute as of now. Qs, again, we tested. We came close to a test of the daily middle band, but this has been the weakest, so it hasn't actually tested it. Not a lot to see on the Qs apart from obviously a pretty nice looking possible overall double top. Looking at Dia, I was talking about a possible test of this trend line here. We haven't actually quite made it. But this is a very nice wedge, and that is the obvious next target, and I'm wondering if we might well do that today. We will see. We did see a slight overthrow of this at the high, suggesting that we might see that break as and when it is tested. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at IWM, and on IWM we have a close basically on the daily middle band. Very, very slightly above it on Friday. So obviously we were testing that for much of last week. So if we can get a clear move above it, then we could well be setting up for a retest of the high here at 271.60. Could this be a triangle forming? Yes. Could that be a B, C, D? Could we be close to breaking up on that? Yes, we could. So watching that with particular interest. On DAX, we've got, as I said, pretty close to a retest of the high. Spent the last 2 or 3 days testing the daily upper band, and on Nikkei, seeing a bit of a retrace here. Could well be a bullish flag or triangle forming, but if it is a flag, we could of course see a lower low within that flag, a possible test of the daily middle band. All right, great. Let's have a look at the X, where we have a nice looking rising wedge. We didn't make it back to wedge support, but this wedge is pretty decent and looks an awful lot like a bear flag, and that is matched by possible bull flag action on EURUSD and on GBP USD. Hard to tell from GBP USD JPY, which is the other big player, but not inconsistent with that. Could be a bull flag on USD CAD, bear flag forming on USD CAD, bear flag forming on NZUSD, and harder to tell on Australian dollars. So if we are setting up to go back and retest this low on DX and have another inflection point there where we could break down or we could set up another rally, then I think that does seem that we are most likely to be setting up for that. Looking at ZB, ZB, this I was saying on the bigger picture last night, this looks like a bull flag, and this looks an awful lot like a bull flag, setting up to retest the February high. I was looking at the bigger picture charts yesterday. There's no particular reason why it can't go up further from here, and that wouldn't actually negate the overall bearish looking lean. So we will see how that goes, but I am expecting this to set up and retest this February high, possibly set up a double top there, or possibly break up a bit further. On ZN, again, this looks like a flag. Got a 60-minute sell signal that's fixed and hasn't made target yet. We'll see how that goes. Looking at CL, CL is back up trading the highs. We're in an inflection point here. We've got a series of potential double tops, but equally we could continue and break up further, and there is definitely a case for that, particularly with a possible attack on Iran starting pretty soon. That's likely to send oil up, and this could well be about to break higher. HO, nice looking double top. 6-minute sell signal reached possible near miss target. May well break higher as well. RBOB, decent looking double top here too. Hasn't reached the obvious trendline resistance, which I've got up here at about the 2.275 area. We will see how that goes. NG. Might be seeing a bit of a rally developing here. We don't have, well, actually, I've got a weakish 60-minute sell signal here. I haven't marked it in yet. But this could be short-term bottoming action setting up a rally. Looking at GC. GC has gone up and retested this high here. This could be the second high of a small double top. There are a lot of flaggy looking setups here on the precious metals. Here is another one which looks like a bear flag. On silver, on palladium, this looks like a bear flag or a triangle. On platinum, this looks like a bear flag forming. So I am seeing quite a few potential bear flags here, and this could be well be a bearish triangle forming on HG. We've got a nice looking IHS, which is broken up here, but it does not need to make target because this would be A, B, C, D, E, and E wave is usually a partial wave. So we could break down directly from here and retest this low. Looking at KC. KC still trickling down, may continue trickling down. 60-minute buy signal fixed, but hasn't delivered a lot so far. SB, seeing a bit of a counter trend rally here, I think. Not seeing an obvious reversal pattern yet, but if we were to, well, yeah, I mean, I'm watching out for one, but I think this is just a counter trend rally, and we are likely to go down again after that. On CC, we are reaching a level I'm thinking we could actually deliver some kind of a big rally. We're not actually seeing much sign of that rally, but I'm watching as we get down into the 3,000 area, which is more of the familiar stamping grounds where we might find support. CT. Nice rally here, could go higher. No current divergence on lumber. Lumber, the longer we trade around here without going up, the more likely it is we're going to go down. We've got a double bottom that's broken up, but if we get back to this low here in the 55350 area, then that double bottom will have failed, and the overall setup looks bearish. On ZW, we have broken higher. 60-minute sell signal is now fixed, watching to see if that delivers anything. On corn, this looks like a bear flag forming. On soy, possible bit of bottoming, topping action here. I'd be inclined to read this potentially as a little head and shoulders forming, maybe. Hang on, wait a second. If we are seeing a topping pattern form here, so we shall see how that goes. But it wouldn't be a bad time to see a bit of a pullback. We shall see. Bear with me a moment. Hang on. All right, ZL. ZL, we've got a nice looking rising megaphone here. This hasn't broken down yet. Hasn't quite made it back to the obvious next target, which would be the Trendline support, 60-minute sell signals reached as possible near miss target. Live cattle could be topping action here, and HE has retraced from the breakdown of the rising channel, and this looks like a little bear flag forming, setting up a retest of this low. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. There are no questions, so I'll catch everyone tomorrow morning. All right, cheers.